Alright, so I finally stopped moving for a little bit so I can get to talk about Everglades National Park. First of all, this is the first park that was ever made for solely to preserve an ecosystem. I didn't know that going into it, so that is a fun fact. It's also the only place where alligators and crocodiles coexist. So don't go to this park expecting to see giant mountain ranges or deep ocean caves. This park is created to preserve this only type of landscape that exists in Florida. So once I found that out, I cut a little bit more slack. The park is huge. It's like the whole bottom third of Florida. Takes like an hour to get across. There's 3 or 4 main visitor centers. We only saw 3 of them, and they don't. It's a weird park. They don't seem to communicate with each other as much as I thought they would. So it didn't feel like a national park. It felt more like a national monument or some kind of national preserve. So what I would recommend you do is, there's a national park, but they don't allow airboats because they want to preserve the ecosystem. Next to it is a huge area called Big Cypress Preserve, and there you can rent airboats and you just fly through the Everglades and you get to see all of it. I would definitely recommend doing that. I'll let you guys know the company I use down below, but we got a private boat tour. It's like $200, a little expensive, but I think it was worth it in the end for how much ground you get to cover. It tells you the history about everything. You get to see some alligators up and close, which I'm not used to, being from Texas and Illinois. So just a great experience with an airboat. First time doing that. Then, so once we did the airboat, we saw a good chunk of the park. Then we did the hikes there. There's not a lot of hikes at this park because mostly it's just flooded Everglade. So they have a couple of main boardwalk trails. They're okay to see. We went like midday, so it was like freaking hot out because we went in the wet season versus the dry season. There's 2 main campgrounds at this park. like Pine Key is one, and it was closed down for bird nesting, so we went to Flamingo Campground, which is like 45 minutes from the entrance. It's at the very bottom of the park. Beautiful campground, plenty of spots, like over 200 campsites, solar-powered heated showers, but during the wet season, the bugs are unbearable, and those mosquitoes are not afraid of DEET. They will go right through you, and they will tear you up. So we just suffer through that a little bit. But after that, the park, you need like 2 days to see it. Maybe 3 if you want to do it every single visitor center. Hiking-wise, there's not much here. A couple boardwalk trails, you can knock that out in 1 day. Water activities, I would just recommend doing a kayak trip up the canal. That's fun. And then I would recommend doing the airboat outside the park. So this park can be knocked out in 2-3 days. 2 days for sure, if you want to stretch it out 3 days. So who would I recommend this park to? If you want to see like a unique place and you just want to check it off the bucket list, this is it. But if you want to come here for like a whole weekend and do some insane hikes and stuff, this is not it. It's more of like a leisure hike park, and then like more of like a history lesson just to learn about this. So overall, would I go back to Everglades? Probably not. There's one hike I would do. You rent a kayak, and at the bottom of the park on the east side, you can go through the Everglades all the way up to the west coast entrance, and it's like an 8-day kayak trip, and you bring a backpack and you camp along these small islands along the way. I would definitely try to do that in the dry season. That sounds just like a wild experience to me. But other than that, I don't think I'd go back for the hikes and stuff. A little underwhelming, and now that I learned all the information about it, I don't think I'd go back. But I'm definitely glad I got off my bucket list, and during the dry season I may end up trying to do that huge adventurous kayak trip if I can survive it. So that's it, guys. If you've been to the park, let me know how you liked it. If you haven't been yet, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm glad to answer them. And the next park is Biscayne National Park.